Yo, what is going on, guys? Matthew V. Haynes here, aka the Clock Master. As you see by the title, before you assume that I'm trying to say anything bad about Thanos, make sure you watch the whole video. I have some things I want to discuss in this video in depth concerning Thanos and his position as a villain, whether he's a good villain or a bad villain. I wrote down a lot of key points, some information, and some things that I want to discuss in this video. So if you're new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more Infinity War related videos or Avengers videos, MCU videos, anything like that sort. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because I've been seeing a lot of talk and some things, and I'll list exactly what I'm covering in this video, concerning Thanos being a bad villain. There's a lot of people calling Thanos a bad villain, how he doesn't make sense as a character, how he doesn't make sense as a villain, how this or whatever, and I'm here to address that and shut those claims down with some facts and also things. So I'm gonna put my opinion aside really for a second, just for certain key points, and then I'm going to list some facts. I'm also going to list my opinion. So I'm going to try my best to speak this video without trying to put any bias in this, but list some facts for you guys out there who may be thinking that Thanos is a bad villain. I'm going to tell you reasons as to why he is not. Now, if you still don't like him as a villain and that's your opinion, that is completely fine. If you just personally don't like the character as a villain, no one can take that away from you, and that's your opinion, and that's totally okay. Now, some of the questions I'm going to be covering over in this video is, what is Thanos' motivation? Why, what's his motivation? What's his purpose as a villain? What makes him a villain? What makes him a bad guy? I'm going to cover that. Another question I'm going to be covering is, why does Thanos think that his motivation works? Why does he think that his procedures work? And where did it come from? Where did his ideas come from? What makes him feel that his ideas are actually going to work? And why does it make sense to him? And why does it all fit in? Another question I'm going to be covering is, why would Thanos destroy thriving and well-off planets? Why would Thanos think that by destroying planets or half of the population of another planet, why would that be a good thing? Why does he think that that makes sense? I'm going to cover that as well. And lastly, how was he able to defeat the Hulk with 1 Infinity Stone, but then with 4 Infinity Stones had a hard time with Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and a few other of the Guardians? So all of those main questions, I've been seeing it on Twitter, I've been seeing it on YouTube, I've been seeing it in my comment sections, some of these questions, and I think that these are some of the main questions that really make sense to address and talk about in this video. So let's go ahead and start, man. Now, me personally, to say my personal opinion, I think Thanos is a great villain. I think Thanos has a lot of character, he has a lot of depth, has a lot of feelings, has a greater purpose, and his mindset and his tunnel vision for what he's trying to achieve really makes sense to me, and it lands home with me. And I've talked about this in my spoiler-free and my spoiler review that I did recently, that I think that Thanos is the best villain that the MCU has seen up to this point. Before Thanos, I would say, was Killmonger, and then up until after that, I would say Thanos now takes the cake because because of those reasons. He's a great villain. He's just a really properly explained character. Now, that's just my personal feelings on the character. Now, to address the question, what is his motivation? Simple. Within the movie, his motivation was explained numerous times throughout different people, different characters, different scenarios, has explained his emotions. And by now, if you're watching this video, I would, obviously you should know that it will contain spoilers, so make sure to click off if you didn't already. You should know it contains spoilers. I should have made a warning earlier. But his motivation is this simple. He believes that by erasing half of the universe's population, that there will be balance within the entire universe. That if there's too much of people, I'll go into detail, you remove half, more resources are now available for more people to exist and to thrive. And that's essentially what his goal is. His main goal was explained from the beginning, even within the trailers. You even hear Gamora says this in the trailers.
The entire time I knew him, he only ever had one goal: to wipe out half the universe. If he gets all the Infinity Stones, he can do it with the snap of his fingers. Just like that.
And that has been explained many times. That's the main idea as to what his goal really is. Why does Thanos think that his motivation works? Where does it come from? Why does he think his idea works, and why do he think it would work on other planets? Now, if you guys paid attention, he explained briefly with Doctor Strange in a conversation that basically on his home planet Titan, he was noticing that the population, and he predicted that the population on Titan will, I guess, become too overpopulated, and they will lose resources and everybody will die. He believed, and he proposed to his fellow people on Titan, that we should probably start removing half of the population if we as a race are to survive and as to continue to grow. They called him crazy, and then what he said ended up happening to be true. How does he, the question is, how does he know that that's going to work? How does he know that to come up with the idea that, hey, maybe if I remove half of the population, then this will work? Where did he get that idea from? This is basic fields of study cover this topic all the time. Economics, economy, agriculture, basic studies on population, all of those fields of study, biology, cover this main topic, that if too much of the population exists on one condensed area, then they will start to run out of resources. Okay, it even discussed that that a population increase by any species will always ultimately be unsustainable. Now that's just studies that have been going on. It's been practiced in history by multiple world leaders. It has been practiced by different people who believe that mass genocide is the answer to this. Even up to recently, scientists, even Stephen Hawking, may he rest in peace, have even discussed things like this, that the human population, we will be too overpopulated. Even scientists predicted by the year 2050, on Earth specifically, that the Earth will be too overpopulated. Right now, I know the Earth is believed to have over 7.3 billion people and keep growing. So the more babies we have, the more people we have. It is a belief that the more of this we have, we will start to be more than the resources that is available to us. Now this is basic study. So I mean, somebody who, like Thanos is an intelligent person. He comes from a planet that is far more superior, fictionally far more superior than Earth, and you have to use some of your knowledge between the comic books and the movies to really put some of this stuff together and to get your knowledge of where things are coming from. Now, I understand as a viewer you may not understand half of the things that are being mentioned here, but like if you don't know some of the backstory of Thanos, you're kind of going to be at a loss without knowing that. But as somebody who knows the comic books and knows how the character is, Thanos comes from a place where people are intelligent, they're smart. Thanos is not a dumb person, he's not a dumb being, he's very intelligent. So somebody like him is expected of him to know basic studies on economics, ecology, agriculture, biology, all the things that I've listed, those fields of study that cover the subject, that a mass amount of people will always outweigh the amount of resources that are available to them. So that is my answer to that question. Now, why would he destroy thriving planets? Now, addressing that question, now that I've explained everything, again, that answer is very simple as well. No matter how perfect the planet is, it is still theory and common theory and belief that eventually, as long as a population is not being contained and it's overpopulating and more babies and more children are being born and things are happening, any species, like I've explained already for the last 3 minutes, eventually they will start to outweigh the amount of resource that available. It doesn't even matter. That planet could be thriving for 100 years. And eventually, somewhere down the line, they will also face that same problem, because a space can only contain a certain amount of people for so long, and that's just how it'll be. Even in Age of Ultron, for instance, Ultron even mentions this in a way too. He says every species and every time has experienced a season of extinction.
You said we would destroy the Avengers. Make a better world.
It will be better.
When everyone is dead.
That is not... The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
You're madmen.
There are more than a dozen extinction-level events before even the dinosaurs got theirs. When the Earth starts to settle, God throws a stone at it. And believe me, he's winding up.
Now that was his viewpoint, and now don't get me wrong, I do not agree with a lot of these viewpoints by mass genocide. I don't agree with that. I'm just listing some of the facts here as to, you know, that justify Thanos' motivations and where he's coming from, because it makes sense. Now, I think, like I said, I think that's pretty simplistic in itself, and to discuss the whole motivation population thing, I think that all explains it all. Now, to get to the question, how was Thanos able to beat the Hulk with one Infinity Stone, but then when he had multiple stones, some of the Avengers, like Tony Stark and Spider-Man and the Guardians, were able to exchange rounds with them? I'm going to explain this. Now, for those who do not know, for some reason, if you do not know, Thanos' power, his skills, his technique, does not come from the Infinity Stones. While the Infinity Stones do grant some power and some abilities to whoever can wield them, first of all, remember, this was even explained in the MCU movies too, so you don't even need to go to the comics for this. This was explained in the MCU movies that not anybody can wield one Infinity Stone. Even in Guardians of the Galaxy, this was explained that if you touch an Infinity Stone, your body may not be able to handle the amount of power, so your body needs to be able to be well equipped to handle the amount of power that comes from the Infinity Stones.
These stones, it seems, can only be brandished by beings of extraordinary strength. Observe. These carriers can use the stone to mow down entire civilizations like wheat in a field.
There's a little pea coming out of me right now.
Once for a moment, the group was able to share the energy amongst themselves, but even they were quickly destroyed by it. Beautiful.
So just going off of that alone, one can assume that if you need to be powerful enough to hold one stone, that Thanos is more than likely powerful enough to hold all 6, which means he's a very powerful being even without the Infinity Stones. Now, to address the fight scene between Hulk and Thanos in the beginning, the way he was able to beat the Hulk was not because he had the Power Stone. Throw that out the way, and I'll shut that whole statement up right now. I'm a martial artist, okay? I've been practicing martial arts for as long as I can remember. Since I was a kid, I've been practicing martial arts with my father. I've been doing martial arts, and one of the things that stood out to me when I watched that scene was that whenever I watch fight scenes in movies, I think of it from a martial artist point of view. And what stood out to me was Hulk was full of berserker rage. He was full of his... If you focus on that fight scene, Thanos was using specific techniques on Hulk that enabled him to take him down. For instance, some of the moves I noticed personally, he was doing some Aikido moves. And if you guys are not familiar with Aikido, Aikido relies on a lot of pressure points, relies on a lot of vital points of the body that enable you to take even a guy that's bigger than you down. There's a lot of Aikido masters who are very... and if anybody who does martial arts know what I'm talking about, they're very small and their frame is very small, but they can take down big guys because they know their weak points. And if you remember from that fight, Thanos was like, boom, he started hitting Hulk in certain spots on his body. He wasn't just fighting him for fighting sake, he was fighting like a martial artist. So even in martial arts, while strength does matter, technique will almost always outweigh strength every time. The fact that Thanos used technique, he is a trained fighter, he is skilled, he is experienced, he used all of that on Hulk. And if you guys pay attention to that fight scene, I've seen the movie twice, and those are the things I paid attention to. He hit Hulk in certain parts of his body, and even you saw when Thanos hit him, like the first place he hit him was on top, somewhere behind on his shoulder there, behind his traps. Hulk was like, whoa, what'd you do to my arm? Like, he didn't say that, but he's like, huh? And then that's when Thanos started going in. He did not need an Infinity Stone for that. Take off the gauntlet. He could have still did that. He could have still beat Hulk, take him down. He didn't need the stone for that. That is martial arts. That's what a trained martial artist does. Hulk is strong. Okay, he's almost near invulnerable. But when he's in a state as the Hulk, especially Well, that's excluding Planet Hulk from, because Planet Hulk, he's pretty much more educated there. But if you look at the form of Hulk right now in the MCU, he's not really a smart and intelligent person. They explored this in Thor Ragnarok. His mind state is of a child. Okay, Bruce Banner, on the other hand, and you kind of have to treat them as separate people. Bruce Banner, on the other hand, is more intelligent, has time to think, but the Hulk is Hulk smash, Hulk smash. That's it. Thanos is a focused, he was tunnel vision, focused, trained, focused. He was focused, and that's why he was able. It's not because of the stones. While, like I said, while the stones do make him powerful, because that specific fight scene, it was not because of the stones that enabled him to beat him. Now, getting to the whole Tony Stark thing, he had 4 stones, right? Tony Stark is intelligent. Tony Stark is also trained in a certain way. And remember this. All the stuff that they were doing to Thanos, Thanos was having fun. And the whole purpose of that specific scene was to demonstrate the power and the usage of the Infinity Stones. If you guys remember, Thanos was manipulating reality. Thanos was manipulating... he was using the Space Stone to travel through different things. He was even using the Power Stone to even take down the moon, for crying out loud. Pieces of the moon that was on the outside, throwing it down to the planet. Thanos was having fun. He was experimenting, and he needed to find that Time Stone. And they did give him a bit of a fight, but all of them, they were using their brains on Thanos. So because they all collected their minds together, they were somewhat able to kind of tame him down a bit, but they didn't do anything. At the end of it, Thanos still bodied them. And even remember the key statement that Thanos says at the end of the fight. He says, "All this for a drop of blood." You saw how much stuff Tony Stark was doing to Thanos. Tony Stark was on his last brink, using all force on Thanos. Was using this, was using all kinds of stuff was coming out of his suit. Was really cool, knives, all of that, blasters, and all of that. And then Thanos says, "All this for a drop of blood." And then bodies Iron Man. You know what I'm saying? You gotta know the kind of character Thanos is, alright? So, as far as when the two is concerned, it had nothing to do with the stones. Alright, Thanos without the stones is still a powerful being. He's still pretty OP. The stones do give him a lot more, give him an advantage, no doubt there. But he doesn't need them, for instance, to beat a character like the Hulk. He's already strong enough to take care of the Hulk, and wise enough, and smart enough, and more experienced to focus. Because you have a guy, and I can speak from experience. I mean, you have a guy swinging at you like this, all right, swinging at you like that. He has no focus swings. A person, for instance, who's focusing on what he's doing can see this man is telegraphing his moves. And if you guys are in martial arts, you guys know what that statement means. This guy is telegraphing his moves. I know exactly what he's doing. I know exactly where he's gonna go. You're focused, so you can be smaller than somebody and still be able to take them down if you know the right moves. All right, you know what I'm saying? I practice Krav Maga, and that's one of the things. They teach Krav Maga to any size. Although it could be a small female taking on a guy as big as me or even bigger and still be able to beat him once you know what to do. All of that has to do with skill, experience, wisdom, knowledge, intelligence. All of that helps when it comes in a fight. So that's just to explain with the whole scenario with the Infinity Stones with Thanos. Anyways, guys, this video has been very, very long. I just wanted to list some of those points. Everything I listed to you there is facts. You can go and research it yourself, do a comparison, and then mention it back to me. If you think something I said in this video is a little bit off, is it a little bit too off, or it doesn't make sense, feel free to explain it to me or correct me in anything that I may have missed or anything like that. I'm willing to have a conversation with you in the comment section. At the end of the day, this all comes down to opinion, and if you do not like Thanos as a villain personally, then that is completely fine. You are completely entitled to your opinion, and no one should bash you for that. I personally like Thanos. I think he's a great villain. I think he works, and I give you facts that support why he works as a villain. He's a great villain. All his purposes and everything makes sense. His motivations make sense. He's a threat. There were stakes. He killed people. Okay, he even sacrificed his own daughter. You know what I'm saying? So this is a very properly done villain. It is one of the best villains I've seen on TV, especially in the superhero genre, in a long time. And I think that if you can't see that, then I don't know. But anyways, that's it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Clockmaster out.